When aliens cried for help, Earth's Deathworlders roared to war. HFY, Sci-Fi story. The distress beacon was old, centuries old by the galactic standard, but it still screamed across the void with the desperation of its original cry. A whisper in the dark, a plea from the edge of extinction. The Council of Unified Species ignored it. It had come from a Yalaran system, once a vibrant cluster of scientific worlds teeming with life, knowledge, and the kind of pacifism only long peace can breed. But the Yalaran people hadn't been heard from in over 100 years. Everyone assumed they'd either assimilated into another empire or simply gone extinct. But the beacon kept calling, and finally, someone answered. Not a galactic patrol, not a diplomatic envoy, certainly not the Krask Empire or the snooty Elvari hegemony. No, the ones who answered were humans. More accurately, Earth's Deathworlders. When a signal was intercepted by a Terran salvage scout, protocol said to log and ignore it. After all, Earth had only been part of the Galactic Assembly for 70 years, and many member species still whispered of the horror Earth represented. A death world, a planet where almost every form of life is a threat, from microscopic bacteria to apex predators, weather systems, even the tectonic plates. Humans had adapted to it all, survived, evolved, thrived. To the galaxy, Earth was a prison from which monsters had emerged with empathy in one hand and war in the other. And yet, when the Yalaran beacon's translation reached Earth's military command, there was no debate. Because the message was chillingly clear. We are being hunted. System falling. No more defenses. To any sentient hearing this, please, help us. Help us. They're killing the stars. Within 12 hours, a battle fleet launched from Earth's Lunar Defense Network, led by the dreadnought Arclight, flagship of the United Terran Vanguard. It wasn't a diplomatic mission. It was war. Captain Danya Rocha stood on the bridge of Arclight, staring at the faded holographic map of the Yalaran system. The last known coordinates showed a system surrounded by stellar debris, signal static, and hostile energy readings. We're jumping into a graveyard, Commander Lin muttered beside her. No, Rocha replied. We're jumping into a crime scene, and we're going to make someone pay. The Arclight and its escort ships, 6 cruisers, 10 destroyers, and over 24 automated strike drones, folded space and dropped in the Yalaran system like vengeful ghosts. They emerged to a sight that silenced every voice on the bridge. Dozens of broken worlds, orbital habitats shredded, stations cracked open like tin cans. And floating among the wreckage were the remnants of something. Alien, living, and hostile. The attackers were unlike anything in the galactic database. Biomechanical monstrosities, twisted fusions of flesh and alloy, formed in jagged shapes that defied logic and radiated sheer malice. They moved in swarms, hunting remaining signals of life, destroying infrastructure with neither question nor communication. They weren't raiders. They were extinguishers. They're still here, Lin said, voice tense. Then so are we, Rocha replied. She opened a channel to the fleet. This is Captain Rocha. We are initiating Operation Phoenix. Our objective, locate surviving Yalarans, secure the system, and eliminate all hostiles. Show them why no one ignores a Terran call to arms. The Deathworlders roared. The first engagement was brutal. The alien machines, dubbed Wraithborn by field officers, swarmed the Vanguard drone squadron, tearing through their hulls with limbs like plasma charge blades. But they hadn't fought humans before. Strike Cruiser Damocles engaged with focused E-impulse weapons that disrupted their coordination. Drones flanked with scorched earth micromunitions, programmed with AI based on Earth's most dangerous predators. Cunning, vicious, and relentless. And then the ground troops dropped. Deathworlder Marines, clad in adaptive armor, hit the surface of Yalaran Prime, one of the few planets with a stable atmosphere remaining. What they found beneath the cloud cover chilled them. Survivors. Not many, and not whole. Yalaran scientists and civilians, hidden in bunkers dug into the bedrock, reduced to starving whispers of their once proud people. They trembled at the sight of humans, tall, armored giants with glowing visors and weapons that hummed with restrained fury. But when one child stepped forward and touched the Terran flag on a Marine's shoulder, he asked, "You came?" The Marine kneeled. "You called. Earth doesn't abandon those who cry for help." The child smiled, then wept. The campaign stretched into weeks. The Wraithborn adapted, growing stronger, more intelligent. Some began to mimic Terran communications. One intercepted message broadcast in crude galactic basic. "You are not saviors. You are next." It was a mistake. That message was forwarded to Earth's capital. 10 more fleets launched, each one faster, each one angrier. Because if the galaxy had forgotten the reason Earth had been feared, it was about to be reminded. On the 7th day of fighting, the Wraithborn launched a counter-assault on Arclight itself. Rosha was ready. She had served during the Orion rebellions, had seen what orbital bombardment did to cities. But what she had not seen was what a full battalion of Deathworld-born berserkers would do when the safety of children was threatened. They fought without pause, without fear. When one fell, another took their place. Humanity wasn't winning because of better weapons. They were winning because they refused to lose. The turning point came when Admiral Juno Reyes authorized use of the Thanatos Protocol, an experimental AI-integrated weapon seeded with Earth's darkest strategic doctrines. Thanatos was not built to destroy planets. It was built to destroy empires. The AI infiltrated the Wraithborn neural web. In 6 minutes, it identified a weakness in their core synapse architecture. In 7, it turned half of their fleet against the other half. By minute 8, the Wraithborn hive ship imploded from within. Humanity watched in silence, not from satisfaction, but from respect for the cost of such a victory. Weeks later, the Yalaran system was secured. Reconstruction began. Galactic media, once skeptical of humanity's inclusion in the assembly, broadcast live footage of human engineers helping rebuild alien homes, Terran medics treating alien wounds, and a group of Deathworlder Marines playing catch with Yalaran children under a simulated blue sky. Captain Rosha gave a speech broadcast across known space. "We were born on a world that tried to kill us every day, and we learned to survive, not by being cruel, but by standing together. When you cried for help, we heard you. And we came, not because we're heroes, but because no cry for help should echo in silence. Not in this galaxy. Not ever. The galaxy remembered. Not the violence. Not the war. But the roar that came when the helpless cried out. The Deathworlders of Earth. The protectors of the forgotten. The monsters who chose to become guardians. And somewhere, in the deepest black of the void, another beacon flared. Another cry for help. Earth's war drums rumbled once again.